So typically speaking, I go into a city, settle in, get accustomed to the new environment, and then maybe a couple days later, I give a concert or one or two. Then I feel like, yes, I gave it all. But when this opportunity of 17 concerts within a month, they said either I do all of the 17 concerts or not do the tour. I was really hesitant to say yes at first, thinking, would I be able to survive? Even just after one concert, I feel exhausted, the energy of it, so much I give on stage. Would I be able to maintain that level of energy throughout the tour? And what would that look like? Also, going to city, which is just almost 7 to 8 hours driving. I mean, I don't like driving. Driving stressed me out. But then when I thought of the idea, maybe someone else come along with this tour as a driver, maybe that might work. So I started to think a positive direction of accepting this tour. But most importantly, I ended up saying yes because I was curious. This particular concert project that I was touring, which called Jeeyoon, has many of the elements of multimedia. So when I play a certain piece and there is a Brahms original theme variation, which has 13 different illustrations that has to be changed within the piece. So I needed a person, obviously, to be able to drive, but also be able to be a tech person for the concert, that changing these images and slides on the PowerPoint following the music. So someone who is a pianist. And because this is just such a long hours of driving, and often this is the 7 hours a day abroad driving, and someone I can be comfortable spending that long of hours in the car. So when I tried to think of all of these aspects, wow, is there that person exists?
This is the moment. Okay, you may go.
Thank you.
Joseph is my close friend from Indiana University. He's a pianist, he's a photographer, he's perfect. He's always such a creative soul, and he will always find solutions. I think his motto of his life is finding creative solutions in life. What is your most memorable or your favorite concert?
Oh, well, that Kauai, was that?
Was it St. James?
That was also wow, St. James was like the epicenter of this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it was a magnificent concert. It was really came together. I was very upset that I couldn't just sit and listen to it.
You have to work.
Yeah, well, I have to be on top. I wanted to just close my eyes and listen to that Brahms. It's the sound was so nice, it's clear as a bell, and I could just tell, how much you were enjoying the piano, how much you were enjoying that the audience was so engaged. It was just everything really came together. And I also think that the concert in Hazen stood out.
Yeah.
I think that in some ways it stood out because we expected it to be so hard to make that long drive out into North Dakota, playing in this very small venue, the smallest venue that we played in. Because it was so small, I don't think we expected such an excellent piano. And just the fact that the community crowdfunded that instrument, I mean, that just went to my heart.
Oh. Oftentimes, we didn't even have time to settle into a new city. We just arrive and get to a concert hall, and the next morning we leave to the next city. So sometimes he had to prepare a meal for next 5 days of stretch, and he managed to do that.
Oh, yes.
I think one of the most difficult stretch of the tour was where I had to perform 5 days in a row. And I don't think I ever done that before. I mean, 17 concerts in a month is one thing, but within that, 5 days in a row, some days that we had to even drive for 4 to 5 hours to get to the next venue. And in that stretch, I remember first concert was fine. Second concert, I felt, okay, I'm a little tired. Third concert, I felt, ooh, this is a lot. Fourth concert, I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know I can even do this. I'm supposed to have like a month-long break, not performing today. And then the fifth day, I was like so out of it, yet I had to give everything I had. And so after doing that 5 days in a row stretch of performance, I felt, okay, anything now can happen, and maybe I can be able to adjust it and deal with it. I think one of the mindset that I had once I started this tour was that I can't count these concerts. I can't think, okay, there's 10 left, 5 more to go, 2 more to go. I just had to be in this mindset that I can be doing this forever. I tried really my best that not to think that where I am in terms of this tour, because I don't know. I don't think I could make it mentally to count down these concerts, because it's not about checking the list. It's really about being in the moment fully. And at the end of the day, I was alone on stage, and I really wanted to give everything. Not to just go through this one as if it's some kind of task.
Hello, my name is Anthony Dohan Kim. I am an orchestral conductor and I'm a pianist. I teach piano as well. I had the pleasure of going on this trip to support Jeeyoon, who's been on this tour for a month, and I got to join for the last bit of it, the last 5 concerts. It was great for me because I have been to Montana before. I'm a camper and backpacker. I love being outdoors. So for me to be able to return to Montana and to see it in snow and to visit all the different concert halls and to support Jeeyoon was a big deal for me. And I had a lot of fun, to be perfectly honest.
This snow came down.
Look at this. It's gonna all fall. You ready?
Ah!
Where are you playing?
At the big performing.
The monument?
Yes.
Oh, you're big time. You're big time.
She's on a currently 17 city tour.
Wow.
If you're in Chicago, New York, or LA, or even San Diego, every week you have the Mitsuko Chidas and the Christian Zimmermans and the Kissins coming through, superstars coming through. Every week you can choose. I don't want to say that people are jaded, but concert goers are used to seeing high-level, high-caliber artists, performers come through. And I think we can't help but get used to it, and you kind of take it for granted. But I think in Montana, when I looked at the concert program for the season of all the different communities that you're playing in, you might be the only classical piano coming through, or sometimes even the only classical performance coming through. On top of that, your performance is unique. It's not just a regular recital. It's an experience. it's a show. It's an interaction with audience. And so most of 98 to 99% of the audience members have never seen anything like it.
When I think about some of those great pianists like Horowitz or some other, Richter, and going through small towns in Russia, playing in the upright piano is out of the half of the keys don't work, I thought of that. My experience would be like that a little bit, but none of it. Actually, I had a great instruments.
Yeah, for the most part, you had great instruments. At worst, you had okay instrument. Before the tour too, I was a little bit worried, not knowing what kind of instrument we would run into. But you're right. We read about these great artists in the past going on tours, playing on honky-tonk pianos in public schools and things like that. But we also know, like you said, from Richter's memoir and also Keith Jarrett's, that famous performance, they go to these towns and they find these, like really beat up upright pianos, but then they still give their all. And sometimes those particular concerts with, lower quality instrument ends up being some of the best performances, right? And I think it was similar. I could sense that when you weren't given the greatest instrument, that you put in, not that you don't put in equal effort every time, but you rise to the occasion, if you will. And so I thought you came through beautifully everywhere. And when you did have really nice instrument, I could sense your relaxation, not artistically, but in the way you play the piano. It was a spiritual thing where you could relax and just fly. And so I thought you adjusted beautifully. It's hard when you walk into a concert hall and you hear a piece for the first time. Nobody expects you to get it on your first try. That's not how it works. But you set us up, you prime the audience so that when you do play, it just hits you like lightning. The way you, for example, before you play the pair Rachmaninoff, you talk about the family history of North Korea and South Korea, and we sense profound sadness before you even hit the first note. We're already on the verge of tears. And so when you enter with the Rachmaninoff, within 5 to 10 seconds, I guarantee you, there's 10 people in the audience already in tears, because we're welling up just from the story and about what Rachmaninoff communicates to us. So when you finally do play, it's almost like we were ready and just it unleashes. And so there aren't performances like that I know of on this planet. And you do that. And so people who don't know classical, or people who love classical music but have not heard that particular piece, I think on their first hearing, they can connect. And I hope that if you have not been to one of Jeeyoon's experiences, that you would consider it, because it's unique, it's singular, it's very special, and it's a real journey from beginning to the end.
You took me everywhere. You came into my soul.
Check out what's on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My, how nice. I never been to concert experience like this.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know how to explain.
Oh. One of the most memorable moments is that when I saw the name of the town, Dillon, Montana, which I never heard before, I thought, okay, I will end this concert. It's fairly small, one of the smallest town. And this concert hall is situated in a university campus. It was the staff was professional. The professor who was actually teaching this theater and lighting, he was just on top of it. And overall, I felt that, oh wow, this is not how I expected. Wonderful. Piano was just well maintained and tuned Steinway. So I had a great time connecting with audiences, engaged, and again, I gave it all. And after I finished this concert, before encore, I came up on the stage and said, you know, I usually give a concert maybe once or twice a month, but I've accepted this tour, which is 17 concerts in a month. And tonight was my number 17. And as soon as I said that, there's a realization that I didn't even realize. Oh, this was the last concert. And I told to the audience saying, I guess I survived it. And when I said that, there's overwhelming emotions came out unexpectedly. I basically broke down on stage. Tears were coming out, and obviously I did not expect that. So I have to really suppress myself and like, no, don't cry right now. I still have an encore to perform, and you know, I didn't want to break down on stage. So I really did my best, just calm down and said, I survived, and I got stronger too. And this was one of the most beautiful experiences I ever experienced in my life. And then I play encore. And since my emotion was so stirred already, when I play encore, I was crying the whole time, and try not to have the tears dropping on the keyboard, makes keyboard slippery. But that was what was going on. And later Anthony was telling me that he was on the second floor, could see audience in the first floor. More than half of people were crying and sniffle, and you know, like they're also shaken by what I was feeling, what it meant to me. My mission as a pianist is to create a bridge between me as a performer and the audience. I also felt that maybe I'm meant to do this. You know, there's always doubts in my life. Am I doing okay? Am I going to the right direction? This particular tour gave me a confirmation that I am on the right track. I wish it were easier, but after going through that tour, it confirms me it doesn't get easier. But I will still do it again. I will still walk into the unknown.